quite hard here yesterday. Hopefully no more is coming. Yesterday I had to go over to my chainsaw carving tent and get the snow off the roof so it doesn't collapse. But today, here I am at the Dremel carving station. Here is a couple pieces of cottonwood bark. This one I just found on the beach combing a couple weeks ago. And here's a piece I believe I got from Merritt. So I'm in the mode right now. It's still morning time. I don't know what to carve. So, excuse me. I believe this piece, it's about an inch and a half thick once I clear it all from those cracks up top there. This is a big piece of bark. So this is kind of a special piece. This bark, it's cottonwood bark. It comes from the black cottonwood tree. This piece would come from the bottom of the tree. Okay? Normally it would be shaped like this, concave the other way, but I guess the floating in the ocean made it twist and turn. I think this is more of a special piece to save for, like, I was going to carve a bunch of wood spirits on here, but you know, this piece would be good to maybe carve an owl and a nuke. I'd love to hear you guys' suggestions what I should carve on this piece. I will film for YouTube for this. This piece is, I'm going to do another wood spirit video today. They're my favorite to carve, the wood spirits. This is like also 8 inches thick and a foot and like 4 inches tall. This piece is 2 inches tall. Let's see how thick it is here. Hold on a sec, please. This piece is like 4 inches thick at the bottom, and it's just over 2 feet tall. And that's how wide it is, 4 inches wide at the back. And it's like 4 inches thick. So I think scrap this piece for today. I'd love to hear you guys' suggestions what I should carve on this. Like carve a whole bunch of wood spirits. I'd like to do that, but who knows, and blend them all together. But let's focus on this piece. So when I'm sitting here drinking my morning coffee with the Larry Dibbs drawing on there, I'll look at this piece and decide where I want to put the wood spirit. I know I just did a wood spirit video. I just put it out, but this one will be for the weekend. There's more coming too. I'll be doing lots more Dremel carving. So let's see here. How do I want to do this? I think, like, you see these, I don't know how I'm going to pull this down. See these things, like, oops, right here where I'm tapping? You see those, how they do that on this piece? I think you can make that his hair, incorporate that into his hair or his beard. I'm just trying to help you guys open your mind to see things in the wood, how you want to carve it. So I think if I spin this piece like this, if I spin it like that, now I got those pieces coming off there. Now I can make it like a windy day wood spirit. I can make it so this beard's coming whoosh down here, and I can incorporate these into, if these don't chip off, because this bark sometimes it's like slate. You know, you see, look at that crack right there. That whole top piece is going to come off. So when you guys buy the bark online and stuff like that, I suggest don't carve it. Clean it up before you start carving it. Know what good quality wood you got. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a wood spirit face up here, and then this part here will be a windy day beard kind of thing. We'll see if we can make it work. It will be a tutorial. I like to focus on, lots of people, beginning wood spirit carvers struggle with the noses. So I'll focus on that, and we'll see if I have time to maybe carve some eyes in this face. All right, maybe we'll carve something else up top too. I should say that you can get these cups online. They're the bigger ones. They hold like the more coffee. And the t-shirts and all that stuff. This is the one, oops, Larry Dibbs drawn for me. But yeah, you can get t-shirts, stickers, and stuff like that if you go down in the descriptions below. And there's all that stuff there. I think it says gear or something like that. Anyways. Yep. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. This bark comes in layers like slate, and you got to get the first top layers off. Here's a screwdriver. Boom. Any hidden critters in there? I've seen a couple little spiders. So there's that. Get all this crap off. Because when you're carving a face on this and you start carving the nose, good chance if you don't get all the top layers off, your nose is going to pop off. So things change too. This is like an example of getting the bark off the wood. This is a piece of bark itself actually, but pretend this is all bark here and I'm getting the bark off. And sometimes you'll see cracks and things you didn't see inside the wood when you first looked at it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my Fordham, which is the bigger 1/4 inch carver. I run the Fordham SR series right here. So this is the 1/4 inch Kutzall Extreme Flame Burr. If you guys want to get these burrs, just go to the description below. It'll take you to the Kutzall site. Use the code CFusion. You save yourself 5%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up. Who knows? These pieces might even, I don't even know if these pieces for the beard are going to pop off. I don't want to try and take them off. But if they come off, they come off. I'm going to figure out where I'm going to carve on this. So like, where do I want to carve the face? Well, I know I'm going to carve it all the way up to about here, because I'm going to have hair up here too. So the best thing to do is now put on your dust mask, put on some music, and clean up all the areas that you know that you're going to carve. Because still, there might be something hiding deeper in here, if that makes sense to you. So it's just best to prepare your work before you even get started on it. Because then you'll have, sometimes with this bark, you do get cracks deeper down inside. But you just got to kind of go with the flow, I guess. So I'll clean this up off line. And then I'll be back and we'll draw on our wood spirit and try and make something cool. Okay, so there's lots of the dust that I had to take off there. Lots of pieces like this flew off down here. So things change, like I say, when you clean up the bark. Or when you clean up your piece. This is the bark. We still have those things coming off here. So I kind of, what's up there? That's a spider. I kind of, something else has popped out to me when I'm looking at this piece. It doesn't have to be a wood spirit. I can carve whatever I want. I kind of see, like, if you put this here like this now, I kind of see these things being, excuse me, like eagle, a beak up here, and these things being the feathers, like it's flying in the wind. So I think I'm gonna try and do my special eagle carving, or a thunderbird, or whatever you want to call it. Things change. It's an open ball field. You can carve. Think of yourself inside the biggest stadium in the city. Okay, standing in the middle of that field with not one other person there. It's an open field. You can do whatever you want to friggin' do. If you want to take off all your clothes, run around naked, screaming, friggin', here I am, God, here I am, God, or whatever you want to do it. Same with art. Do whatever you want to do. It's your art, nobody else's. And you know, the more original that you are, I think the better you are. Find your own style. I've kind of broken into my style. My wood spirits basically all look the same. So it's time to start practicing other things on the wood spirits. But I love practicing my eagles or fire chickens or whatever, thunderbirds or whatever. Thunderbirds are just as cool as the eagles. So I think what I'm going to do, put the camera in the overhead. We'll use this as the top of the head. This can be our eye here. Like we'll go like this, then we'll draw an eye in there, and this beak can come off here, right? So you see that, a beak here. Then this will be feathers. Then this can be a wing coming up. I think so. Yes, I do. Sorry, just carved Rob. I asked Rob what I should carve. He says wood spirit, because everybody loves the wood spirit videos. But I love making the wood spirits too, but I just can't not see friggin' not carving a thunder chicken pig on this. So here we are once again. Now, like I said, this can be the forehead. Let's see here. How would I do this? Eye would be there. That's a little bit big. I'm kind of unfocused right now. let's see, forehead here, like the top of his head or her head, whatever you want to. Your beak. I don't know how well you guys can see. Then your bottom jaw here, and the eye would be here. Then this is a kind of a carving fusion thing that I do here. It's kind of like a wing, but that makes for a pretty long head. Like so, your beak would be here, so I don't have to zoom in. You need to make this forehead a little bit thinner. I don't know why, but for some reason I like my tops of the heads to be more square. I think it just looks a bit more I guess the word would be aggressive. Because we want to try and all fit it in here. This isn't going to work for me. I'm going to have to, actually I think I'm going to have to pull it back. Like put the eye back here somewhere. Yeah, that's better than the beak over here. I'm going to take all this off, redraw it on, and then we'll go for there. Because that was just too long. Kind of reminds me like of a dinosaur, the way these things are. This is just to show you guys how my mind works. You know, I'm just like everybody. I've been carving for 6 years now, 6 or 7 years. I'm not the best artist. It's just I'm just like everybody else, learning new things, trying new things, and the most important thing is having fun. So let's let me. This might be. I think this is like a dinosaur bird. Okay, so it's drawn on here better. So our beak, our eye. That eye's a little bit big. You can make it smaller if you want. My buddy Ben, he's turning into a really wicked chainsaw carver. He's in North Vancouver. I've carved with him a couple once. Anyways, he helped me with my eagles. He said it's good to have cheekbones in your eagle, so this would be a cheekbone. So we'll carve this so it's kind of like a bump in there. Then this would be the back, and then all these would be feathers coming off here, and then this can just kind of thing. So what I'm going to do first, and I kind of make it so the head slopes down this way. So this would be his bottom lip here. There's things like to look at when you're doing eagles. They say like the bottom of its beak should kind of line up with the eye here. I guess it should be back more. I was having problems with mine because I was always trying to make the beak same level as the eye, but since I'm not a realism, I would love to be able to carve eagles so they look like they're real eagles, but I'm so influenced by native art, I don't think that will ever happen. As long as you can tell it's a bird, an eagle, at the end of the carving, it's good. So his head, you see this crack here, his head will be up here, and then we'll have feathers or things, stuff up there. We'll separate this all the way across here, this crack. Boom. Then his eye under there. And it probably would be good for me to start doing smaller beaks, but I just really don't care. So what I'm going to do first is, I think this is going to be neat if I can pull it off. I'm pretty sure I can. What I'm going to do first is carve on the outside of this beak and remove some of this wood here. Same with down here, right? I'm going to carve. Got to be careful when you're at this beak. I hope it doesn't chip off. If it does, I might have to glue it back on. Because I've got to carve on the outside of the beak, right, to make the beak pop off and remove some of this wood here on the outside of it. Then I got to carve the beak a bit lower, right? Like normally the beak would go in like this, but we're not worried. This is a 2D carving. Okay, so let's do that first. Let's get this wood removed around the beak, taken farther back, doing a cut here, and then pushing this beak back a little bit farther to separate it from the face. Does that make sense to you? Just me having fun. That's all this is. You guys can do it. If you've never carved wood before, it's super fun to see the project, the peat thing coming out as you're going along. So I am running a Dremel 4000 with a Dremel flex shaft. Here's a Kutzall taper burr. It's the silver one. I'm going to go true to the line. That means like square and cut around here. I'm going to cut it fairly deep. Probably Gert Deep says about maybe half an inch, an inch. I was going to say something else, but I forget. Hi, Liz. Oh, yeah, so I'm going to cut the outside line with this, right? Get it nice and deep in there. Then I'll switch over to the Kutzall Extreme Flame Burr. This one's plugged up. Where's another one? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. This is my favorite burr right here to remove the wood. We'll worry about this background once we get this eagle carved in. We can switch it up, do whatever we want to do. Oops, gotta turn my Dremel up. And I am running a foot pedal. It's just a cheap Amazon on-off one. That's all you need. The newer Dremels don't work with speed control foot pedals. So the foot pedal is just, I turn my Dremel up maximum. I always run my Dremel at maximum. I just go harder to the touch or softer to the touch. Careful around the tip of this beak. This guy, boy, oh boy. Careful around the tip of this beak. This guy's got a super sharp beak. I like it. When you're cutting around this, always cut on the outside of the line, and it's okay to give yourself extra room. Like, so say if I don't carve on the line and carve it a bit more over here, it's better to leave extra wood than take off more wood. Okay, I'm going to outline this, take some of this eye away. All right. So now I can get the Kutzall Extreme Flame Burr and start removing the wood around the eagle. Stand by. Careful around that beak. Okay, so here's what we got so far. I did some deep carving there. I did a little bit of undercut. Undercut is where, so this is the carving itself. Undercut is where you cut underneath the carving and it gives you shadows, because I have to do some carving around here too. So when you do the undercuts, how can I explain this? When you do the undercuts, pretend this is your burr. You can start the carving underneath the main focus point, the main focal piece. So I can start that underneath there so it continues out from underneath it. So it looks like this is behind, this part is behind the carving. Does that make sense to you? I need to do more there, more undercut. We'll go more on that later. I think it's really important for 2D carvings. So I think this is looking cool as hell. You know, like I say, my beaks are always bigger. I think I got this tip from Stephen Kenzora. He's a professional chainsaw carver. He does some pretty wicked eagles. It's better to have a bigger beak than a smaller beak. If you start like shorter, once you start making the shorter beaks, it starts looking more like a parrot. You know, if this doesn't look like an eagle and looks more like a thunderbird, I have no problem with that whatsoever. So you can see I got this drawn on here. This would be a thinner beak, like not as high, but the actual beak comes up to here. Let's get a pen mark on there so we can see the two different ones. I'm kind of liking this lower one. Doesn't matter. Like, let's see here. Let's see if we go like this. My paranoia with wood carving, when I'm doing the wood carving, is the beak's breaking off. Yeah, so no, I don't like that. I'll just stay with the top one and we'll leave the bigger beak. Just sit there and look at your carving and think, what can you make better? You know, like, that's the best. If you got to leave it for a day and sit there and put it above your TV or your computer, or, I don't know, to look at it and study it, then do it. It will help your vision get a lot wider, better vision. So now this beak, see, I just did the first cut here. So now I need to push this beak back a bit. So I need to carve it. So I need to carve this down flatter from the face. You know, realistically, like this beak would be carved like this. You know, so it tapers off at the tip where the beak is. It gets real thin there. It would be like that. But this is a 2D carving. So I'm gonna take this beak lower. I'm gonna smooth these lines out here, so that will be like a bump. I'm gonna carve around this eye. I might even put abalone shell in this eye. I put abalone shell, depends if I like the piece or if I don't like the piece. If I don't like the piece, I won't do abalone shell. If I like the piece, I will do abalone shell. Got the Kutzall Extreme Flame Burr in here. This mic working? Yep. Now, see this bump in here? I got to take all this wood off because you don't want to have it make it look like there's a cut bump in there. And I got to taper it somewhat down this way. If I got to recarve down here, because I got to push this beak a little bit, that like let's see here. I got to push it a little bit that way so it looks like it's tapering down. If I got to recarve around it, I will. Careful at this beak, it's getting super thin. See, putting my hand on this hand here, putting this on so when I'm at the beak, if I'm only using one hand, your burr can take off and do something. But if you put your other hand here, support it, it's not going to be able to take off. Like I'm always keeping an eye on my depth too, so this would be the depth from the eagle's beak to the back of it itself. Oh, there goes this bullshit thing. I can't stand these little things. I usually just take them off. Once they fly off, I'll find them a week later. I'll throw them in the garbage. It's just nothing but a pain in the butt. So because I'm having to take this beak down, now you can see the bottom lip in there. See the bottom part? That's going to get carved away. I'm going to carve into that, so I'm going to recarve it quickly. Carve it deeper. Undercut. Undercut. Try and get underneath that beak. And level it all out. See that? Dug in there like that. This would be his cheekbone. Cut away from the cheekbone. And back here too. Okay, cut. So his head would be here, like, I don't know what you'd call it, his eye line or something, but we got to taper that down. We got to redraw the eye on. That's not a big deal. Okay, so these edges are kind of square here, so I'll just kind of round them off a bit. I'm kind of cutting underneath each one of these to make them pop out a bit more, like give it more movement in the piece. Okay, so I'll get this beak smoothed off. Let's get some shadows here so you guys can see better. I got to take this beak down some more so it's not like round that way. I'll get this done and then we'll be back. All right, so that's what we got so far. This is my vision. I'm trying to make it so you guys can find your own vision. So I carved the beak deeper. This bark's getting a little bit wet. That's the bark that I got in Merit. It's getting a little bit wet, so it's a little bit fuzzy. It's kind of hard to getting this bark when it's wet. It's a little bit harder to work with. Anyways, so this eye, I carved it deeper. Now there's the top of its head, kind of just doing its thing. What I did is I traced this piece of, I just drew this out quickly with this little piece of cardboard. I got to make sure I don't lose this. Now which side's the top, which side's the bottom. I put it on there, and then I traced it. So when I do the abalone shell, I'll have this piece, if I don't lose it, to trace it out of the abalone shell. I'll carve it deeper inside there, and then plop the abalone shell and glue it in. So let's just put this up here for now. And I got to remember that I put it up there because I'll forget that I put it up there. So anyways, you know, with the eagles, and this, everything's my opinion. So this basically is a fire chicken now, a thunderbird, I'd say. So I'm going to call this a thunderbird carving. But I think with the beaks, that's how your carving's going to look good or it's going to look not good. So I think focus on doing a bigger beak than a smaller beak for the very beginners. You know, this is the Thunderbird, yes, but I could also carve it this beak lower so it looks more like an eagle. Eagle's kind of beak. Not so round. I don't like my beaks to look round too. I like them to look more sharp. But if I did that, see how that if I cut this wood away up here, see? Now it doesn't look very good to me. You think you would have to go like this, come straight off, then boom, around. So I like my beaks to look like they're going to be able to chomp away at a bear. Aggressive. Okay? So just by doing that, drawing that on, it's a way of testing what would it look like if you did carve it that way. Actually, what I would do to make it look like an eagle is I would take some more of this away and carve this, draw this in more sharper. But like I said, I like my beaks to look more square. So it would go like this, boom. And this is just me talking to myself on video. So that's kind of more of a smaller eagle's beak, but we're going to stick with the original. So now what do I want to do? Well, I'll sand this stuff away. Let's carve this eye in deeper. I think I'll be using the Kutzall taper burr again, that long skinny one. And we'll do a undercut underneath, well, just a cut on, because you want to have a eye rim there. That's what I do. And then we'll have little feathers coming down here and make it all. Just have fun. I'm having super lots of fun right now. And for the background, this is just something I do. It kind of looks like there's a soaring wing in the background. I kind of bring it out. I go like this. And it's kind of neat because you're going to see something like this pretty soon that I've carved worldwide. Anyways, I just leave it there. But you don't want to, it's tricky because this is cottonwood bark. This is softer wood. You don't want to bring it out and then carve underneath this beak. But so I just kind of go like this. Boom. kind of just do my carving fusion thing. So how about I get this carved in, and then we'll focus more on the fire chicken pig squirrel thing after. Now, I got all those cuts in there. This is not that easy to do. You see the undercut here? See how that shadow pops out? I think undercuts are so important in 2D carvings. Let's cut this burr in there so you guys can see how far I had to go under there. Now it looks like it's behind the piece and you get the shadow from the center piece. Because if you don't do that undercut, these cuts under here are going to ride up on that bottom lip, and it's just going to look, well, it's going to look like it's riding up on the bottom lip. Now's the time you sit back, you look at your carving, you process what's going on. You're awesome. You've carved something. Wood carvings are special. Even if you're the very beginner, like it's your very first carving, sit back and be proud of it. And the more that you do, the better you're going to get. I promise you that. I'm completely happy with this so far, and I just kind of went with the flow from the very beginning of the piece. I did want to carve a wood spirit, but I've carved this instead. If you're wood carving, you're awesome because they're special, and don't let anybody else tell you anything different. So now if I look at this piece, I got lots of movement in here in the face. There you can see some shadows. This bark's not the best. You see that? That's sanding it too, and it's fuzzy there. Those aren't cut marks. That's from sanding it. So, lots of movement where my thumb is to the back of the hair. Now, this part here, to me, and like I said, I'm just trying to let you guys kind of know how my mind works. To me, this part seems pretty flat, like all where my thumb is, all here, compared to the rest of the piece. So I think, and another thing too, the more times that you do the carvings or whatever you're doing, the more you're going to find your own style. This up here is carving fusion stuff. So I think here, because you got to think, this piece, I'm going to put the wall hangers on the back and it will be hung up like this on the wall. Okay? So it's like soaring up. So I think I've already made a video like this before. So now, up here there's is feather things or whatever they're called. Now, if I go like this, let me put the camera in the overhead, please. Stand by. Okay, so there now, I go like this. We'll read from here. Makes it so this part's not, makes it so this part's not so long and just kind of, because I got to carve the first feather things in there. We'll go like this. We'll cut this along the line here. Remove some of this wood in here to make this pop off, because this is going to be a wing. Does that make sense? So cut here. Remove some of this wood. This will pop off, and then we'll do some shapes, some kind of thing like a soaring wing. And this is basically kind of like a, man, it freaking looks like a dragon, doesn't it? Anyways, that's well, if this thing was soaring like a normal eagle, like with his wings out, and just like I don't know, the wing would be, top of the wing would be top of the head, but we don't have that. So does this work? No. Once again, put your piece against the wall, drink some coffee, and does that work? Will that work? I think it does. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to make this thinner down here and do something. Yeah. You're awesome. Uh-oh. It's snowing again. Isn't snow beautiful anyways? Okay, so I did some carving off not filming. What I did is now you can see the cheekbones and the thing, how that worked. I used this aluminum cutter to do all the little texture hairs. See how I kind of let it roll off there? One thing that's a little bit bothering me about this carving, if you look at it, it looks pretty neat, I think. But this wing should be higher, but I don't, it's too late now because I don't think I can, like this piece is the piece that's kind of bothering me. I'm just letting you guys know what I think when I'm looking at my own work. This piece is kind of, this is neat. It's like, he's like whoosh, totally flying in the wind, and the wind's pushing this way and it's pushing his hairs up over like that. But this wing should be higher if it was soaring. But I can't, I don't want to cut this part away and fold that wing over there because I think that crack just goes a little bit too deep to do that. And it's a good way to possibly wreck what you got so far. So that's neat though anyways, right? Just because I see that doesn't mean that somebody else will see it, right? So now, oh yeah, I got this Scotch Brite. This is 3M Scotch Brite. There's boxes of it. I buy it by the box and I cut it up into little pieces in my Amazon store. And this is just a sanding mandrel here. I think these are in my Amazon store. I think you get like 6 or 7 for $10. But so I carved it and then I hit it with this Scotch Brite because this cottonwood bark's pretty soft. You don't want to sand away the detail. Yeah, that bugs me. This bugs me, but it's all right, man. It's neat. I think it's neat. You guys might not think it's neat. So now the abalone. I know that I took most of my abalone shell to my carving tent. Now here's the thing with abalone shell. Now let's take a look at the Carving Fusion junk drawer and see if we can find a piece of abalone shell. I don't even know if I got any here. Put this back up here for safekeeping. Don't go anywhere. Okay, this is like a artist tote thing I've had for years. So this is all my electrical stuff in here. I don't think it would be up in here. And 20 sets of microphones. This is some moss I got on Vancouver Island. I'll use it sooner or later. See, this is dollar store Scotch Brite. This stuff is it's shitty. So it burns away fast. So it's best to get yourself some good Scotch Brite. I like the 3M stuff the best. What's this? This little sanding wheels. Man, you name it for wood carving, I got it. For power carving. Wood, Ben's, this is like wood filler. Ben told me to get Studio on the Lake. Quickwood. Something. What's in here? I don't know. I got so much shit. This is all my epoxy stuff and the gold leaf and gold stuff and fishing line and fruity little Christmas sparkles, dyes, different dyes. This is all my UV stuff, and we got the really expensive wood burning pen, the razor tip digital there, whatever. What's this? Oh, we got some beeswax in here. What's here? Oh, we got stuff from Ram. Yeah, we got UV lights. We got Christmas lights. Man, I hope there's some. Boom. Put that back there. We got a big, huge thing of Mod Podge. We got some 1/16 carving bits. We got some Christmas trees that I use for next year. We got some pen blank woods you can get on Amazon. They're good to carve little carvings on. And here we go. Now, this is abalone shell. I ordered it on eBay. All right, so here's one that I've cut up a bit. Abalone shell, look at the beautiful colors you get in here. So the mother of pearl stuff is the white stuff, but you see like you get holes in it and stuff, but over here is nicer. This isn't the best piece. But when you order the abalone shell off of eBay, you got to make sure you order two sides smooth. Okay, so the outside and the inside smooth, because this abalone shell has an outer casing on it. And back in the day, my buddy even put it in his rock tumbler with the outer casing on it. And I don't know how they get the outer casing off this stuff, but it's super hard, and it didn't work in his rock tumbler for like a week. It was still on there. So this is real abalone shell from, I think this comes from Thailand or somewhere in Asia. I think at the time I paid like $8 or $7 or $10 a shell. So make sure you get this two sides smooth, because you don't want to get it, because they sell these for smudging, like get your hippie stuff and you smudge it in there, but it would have the outside part on it. So remember, two sides smooth. Now another thing too, I'll talk about it on one of my chainsaw carvings when I reveal the back of the carving, the Viking chair, the Viking native chair. You can buy this stuff on sheets at Amazon, and it's actually, you know what, for this video I'll leave a link below. I got to remember to do it. Sometimes I don't. I'll find it in Amazon. I'll leave a link. They come in sheets, so it's like fake. But I got some, and I'll show it, and it looks pretty real. And you just cut it with scissors. So you can buy this stuff, so it's fake, but it looks pretty damn real to me. I got some, like I said. So I'll find out where do I want to take this piece of. When you're using the abalone shell too for the eyes or wherever you want to put it, you can also buy this stuff so it's already cut out in like little circles and different shapes and stuff. So I suggest for the very beginner to buy it. Look on Amazon, just Google Amazon abalone shell. You'll see it in little sizes of circles, but it comes in the sizes, say 3mm. So make sure you convert 3mm to inches, because sometimes you'll order it and you'll get a little tiny thing like this. So you got to make sure you know your metric from imperial stuff. If not, you can just convert it online. So I don't see a really good piece on here. Well, right here, you can use the holes in it too. Just friggin'. Now using this stuff's a little bit trickier than using the stuff you can cut, because you gotta use a little burr to cut this. And that's a good screenshot right there. Stand by. I don't know if I'll use that screenshot or not, but the stuff that you can buy that's fake comes like paper. You can cut it. It's pretty easy to break. It's a bit thicker than paper, but this stuff you need to use a little cutting wheel or whatever you can use to cut it. And you got to remember it's also round. So like the paper's easier because it's flat. You just put a piece of glue on the back and boom. This one's round, so you have to make sure the roundness fits inside the eye. Now, what I did with this is I undercut up deep underneath that eye in there. See that? See how far that goes? So you can put your shell in, tuck it underneath the eyebrow, and then let it sit down here. I'm not the best at doing this, but I like to try and take my time when I'm doing this kind of stuff and make it look, because it's kind of, the abalone shell might be like a little bit of a highlight of the piece, and so people might be looking at this and they won't look at that. Okay, so you can see I transferred it on here. I just held this on there, then transferred it. I like to use my abalone shell eyes. So they, let's see here, let's find a little skinny burr. So the shell is going this way, so it looks like that will be its pupil when you put it in the eye. See? I could do it this way, but then it just kind of looks that. But if you do it this way, it looks like it's kind of looking. If that makes sense, let's get this glare out of here. If that makes sense to you. Kind of looks like a dragon's eye. Perfect fitting for this piece. So now you can get those little Dremel cutting discs. But for this, I like to use, they're called, well, diamond burrs would work. I like to use wall tile cutter bits. And this stuff is not good for your lungs. Definitely 100% wear a dust mask when you're doing something like this. Because, well, this stuff's just, well, like I said, not very good for your lungs. You probably should cut this one up more, but no, I like this piece right here. Okay, stand by. Okay, so I got the wall tile cutter in here. This gets on Amazon too. You get sets of 10. They come in packs like this. like your metalworking burrs, different sizes and stuff in there. These are great for doing stops and starts. So now just turn your fan on and make sure not to breathe in this dust. So there it is. So now I'll kind of round the edges a bit. Now I forget what side was the top. I wish I had a thinner pen to mark that out. I forget. There you go. I forget what side was the top and what side was the bottom. Sometimes you have to keep on. Boom. Look at that. Perfect fit. Almost perfect. I need to round that out a bit. See right here? So you can use sandpaper for that. Get that pen off of there. Now does I look better like that? Let's see what's a better fit. Well, that's a nice fit, just like that. Look at that. Or let's try the other way. Which way did I just do it? I don't remember. Stand by. I think both ways are like it's watch this. It slopes that way, but when you turn it this way, it slopes that way again. So either which way. Let's try this. Sometimes you have to take it out and refit it and do things. Yeah, that's good like that. So I got it to fit good. Another thing I like to do is just punch little holes in the back there so it's not smooth. You kind of scrape up this back so the glue will grip it. I think I'll just probably use hot glue. That is a nice fit, not sucker. Yeah, it sure is. There you go. I did a little bit more carving off line, which I shouldn't have done. You can see a little hole in there. Not a big deal, but I think it's pretty nice. See how it kind of looks like a dragon's eye? Eagle eye? Whatever. So you get some better lighting here. Some shading and stuff pop out. You know what I think I'm going to do with this? I think I'm going to carve it deeper, push it back a bit farther, because it's bothering me. And just like all of you, if something's bothering you with your carving or art, don't be afraid to try and fix it. So yeah, I think once I push this down, carve it down that way, it might make me somewhat happier. So there's the wing facing towards you, and here's the wing behind. So if you look at this, I'm much happier with the way that turned out. That piece doesn't seem like it's out of place, but this wing should be a little bit higher if you're going for realism. But yes, I said I do want to carve eagles so they look like they're real eagles. but not on this one, man. This is just it's just an art piece. I think it's come together quite nice. You know, like I'm happy with it. I'm not happy with all my carvings. This one looks all right to me. I think it says it's an eagle. Oh, now I don't know how to finish it. So another thing too, like I said earlier, this bark is a little bit damp. So I don't want to spray it, because if I spray it, that spray sometimes goes on whitish. So I think it's best just to leave it, let it dry. Let's give you guys, there's a Just Carve Rob side view. See how everything's kind of just depth and stuff like that. The more deeper that you guys practice doing your carvings, the undercuts, how you get the shadows and depth, the more that you will get better at carving. Just keep practicing, having fun. It's your creation. Don't when you're carving this, or don't be intimidated what anybody else will think. Because if you do that, once you get past that point, you're going to be come more open to finding your own style and having a lot more fun. So I think we'll leave this one here. I'll show this on a video, what it looks like after I got the clear coat on. I did thinking about painting this wing and this wing all black, and then leaving this just kind of wood color. But it's a good way to ruin it. It looks all right the way it is now. Have fun, everybody. It is snowing out there. It's snowing out. I gotta go put down some more salt. So, anyways, Carving Fusion, over and out. Don't shit the bed. All right, so apparently I'm not done yet. What I did was got some black dollar store paint, watered it down really quite lots with water, so it wasn't so black and thick. And this doesn't have to be a bald eagle. A bald eagle's wings would be black, but I want you to be able to see the grain in the bark. So I diluted it. So who knows? This is a brown eagle or whatever kind of eagle it is. So now you can separate the wings from the face. This is mostly dry. All right. I painted it, then I heated it up with a freaking heat gun. So now what I'm going to do is I got this 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to sand the high points to make them pop. See that? See how I'm just sanding that? All along these edges I'm going to sand. And then I'm going to Mod Podge it. Yeah. Yes, I signed it. Just a J. My videos are starting to become pretty long, but how are you supposed to show anything if the fucking videos are super short? Anyways, so now Mod Podge. Oh yes, I want to do Mod Podge because it will. Well, maybe I should do a spray on. Maybe I should just use this shit right here. I'm going to use this because I want this. Mod Podge won't make this go that dark, but I want this to go darker so it doesn't kind of stick out like a sore thumb. Shit. Now we're talking. Okay, so coming to you from the fat guy with the hole in his head that's half bipolar, that's having a good time. That's it for this one. I'm going to let this dry. It's still sticky. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll get some matte finish, put some matte on it. This is darker here, but it's not that bumpy. It looks like it's bumpy, but it's not. There you go. Wings a little bit small. No big deal. Okay, one more time. I forgot something. This is the hanger that I used. I just put one on there and I kind of balanced it off. So perfect. That's it. Bye.